let's pivot to the AFC East win totals, courtesy of our friends at the PointsBet Sportsbook. Buffalo over-under of 11.5. I may have had one opinion last week after watching your boy Blue Chris against the Packers on Saturday. I probably feel a lot differently now about the Bills. There were some signs of dysfunction thanks to the whole anti-vaccine thing among so many of their players. But Josh Allen is still Josh Allen, and if anything, he looks better. Give me the over. That's an easy one.
I think so, too. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm expecting last year 13-3 or 14-3 this year or something like that, but I have a hard time with Josh Allen. And, you know, they do have a pretty tough schedule. It's different that way. This one's close to me, but I'm going to go over here as well. I am. You know, the one thing I guess that scares me is a little bit of the start of the year. You know, you see that. It's 3 really good defenses right off the bat. But Allen is so special, and I feel like he has gotten to that Mahomes, you know, Rodgers type of thing where if you're just not absolutely dominating them, he can find a way to beat you and win the football game. So I'm going to go slightly over here too. I'm thinking like 12-5 with the Bills. I do worry about, you know, how dominant their defense can be. But I think overall, I'm just too confident in Josh Allen, the offense, and all of that goes with that to pick. I can't pick the under. I'm going over.
Yeah, I have to go over. I saw looming, though, a date with the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. We've said previously this year that if the Bills are really going to crash the party, if they're going to prove that they're ready, they've got to get past the Chiefs. They've got to show that they can beat the Chiefs, and they get another opportunity to do it. They were 0-2 last year. Remember how uninspiring they were? It was one of those games that got moved around into a weird time slot. I think it was a Monday night doubleheader or something like that, but it was a weird night in Buffalo. It was rainy. It was windy. The Bills' offense just wasn't there. That's the thing about the Bills' offense. From time to time, it just disappears. Doesn't happen often, but because it's so good when it's there and it's clicking, when they can't get it going, it's so much more glaring, isn't it? Like against Baltimore in the postseason. Well, when they finally did wake it up, but then they hit the Chiefs, and there are times where it just feels like it's not there.
Well, that's what I think worries me a little bit about them. You know, one, I mean, I expect the division in the AFC East to be better, for sure. I mean, New England's going to be better. New England almost beat them last year up in Buffalo. I mean, Cam Newton fumbled on the 10-yard line, remember, going in. You're thinking, uh-oh. Patriots might, you know, pull off the upset. But the point you're making, yes, it's a little too Josh Allen-centric at times. And that's where, you know, I do worry about them. And that's where I'm like on the bubble with that 11.5 there. I don't know if I could just see them ripping off as many wins as last year, especially, you know, with the schedule that we just brought up there. They're going to be, their teams have studied them, what they do. They're going to be a little bit better feel within the division and how they play. So, you know, from that aspect, that is what I do worry about. You know, we've seen them struggle, right? You said the Chiefs last year, the Ravens, the Tennessee Titans, you know, teams that, I'll say the Ravens and the Tennessee Titans who had knowledge of the offense. Vrabel from New England, Dayball from New England. Ravens, they've always been on the New England thing from Dean Pease's years there and all of that. So they know a lot of those rules, which, of course, you know, hurt the Bills a little bit. But, yeah, I'm going to go over just because of the talent with Josh Allen. I'm not necessarily saying, like, I think the team is just absolutely the best team in the AFC.
Yeah, they do have work to do to get to the Super Bowl, but they continue to be the best team in the division, although it will be a little more difficult this year because, number one, it's not a surprise this year for the other teams in the division. They've had opportunities to go against this new-look Bills offense that runs through Josh Allen, but I still think they will go over. And remember, there were 17 games this year, so 12-5. That is still so weird to think of. For 40 years, you think 12-4, 11-5, 10-6. We still have to reprogram our brains in that regard. All right, New England's over-under win total, 9.5. Mac Jones is the quarterback. These numbers haven't moved much because Mac Jones is now the guy over Cam Newton. The question is the guys around the quarterback. Last year, not enough good guys around the quarterback, especially on offense. This year, they've improved. Chris, I'm inclined to go over. I think the Patriots are going to the playoffs this year. I thought it with Cam. I think it with Mac. I just think that the talent has increased to the level where when you throw in the greatest coach of all time in any sport on top of it, you're going to cobble together enough wins. With 17 chances, you're going to get enough wins to get to the playoffs.
I'm going over, too. I am. The defense, first off, they made all the right moves. I wouldn't be shocked if New England's defense is the number 1 rated defense in football when it's all over. They got big people, tons of secondary people. We'll see when Stephon Gilmore gets back. Of course, that stinks that he's not out there. But, man, they got a lot of good corners anyways. And I think they'll be able to play a little bit of a different style of defense this year because they finally have some big people and some pass rushers up front. They've been a little like handcuffed the last few years because of we got to crowd the box in the line of scrimmage, and then because we're not big and don't have any playmakers up there to where we have to play man-to-man on the back end. So I could see that changing a little bit. But I'm with you, Mike. I just think it's too well-built of a football team. I don't care about the rookie or not. Mac Jones is better than Matt Castle was taking over, and he went 11-5. So I just look at New England being too good, and that's what kind of affected me with that Bills decision, where I'm like, Bills 11.5. I mean, I could see them being at 11, or 12, either way. But I think this division lends it to thinking, man, they could have 3 teams in the playoffs for sure.
Right on the heels of the New England Patriots with an over-under of 9 wins. Again, the Patriots at 9.5 are the Miami Dolphins. They felt like a playoff team last year. Remember, they had that great Saturday night win in late December when Ryan Fitzpatrick was getting the exorcist treatment with his head spun around and threw the pass and extended it. And they ultimately couldn't get it done. This year, again, an extra game, an extra chance, extra opportunity to qualify. You've talked about them as a playoff team. Are you going over 9 wins, under, or are you going to go push and say 9-8 and maybe 9-8 is good enough?
I am going to go over. I am. I mean, push is certainly in that discussion, but the one thing, you said it. The Dolphins, to me, in the preseason just got the look. They played really good football. I do think Tua looks like a different football player altogether. The Jalen Waddle aspect at wide receiver, they have a real niche for him within the offense, and we know he can fly, and he's got 2 rockets up his butt, but also he's going to be their Julian Edelman, Wes Welker guy too, so they're going to have him. If they get Devontae Parker to stay healthy with Preston Williams and Gesicki at tight end, you just go, geez. Offensive line, they're obviously not totally happy with it, but they got a lot of depth, and it should be pretty good, and defensively they should be top-notch too with good coaching, so I have a hard time saying under here. Yeah, I'm going with the over. And 9, 10-7, I certainly could see that from the Miami Dolphins, and maybe even better.
I'll go right on 9. I think 9-8. I still think they have work to do. I hope Tua steps up and plays like Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. Let's see.
Yeah,
where the Dolphins are, and also let's see what happens with Deshaun Watson, because they may be willing to take a short-term step back in the name of being a potential Super Bowl contender starting next year. And that really is the question. Hey, are we going to tread water here, get to the playoffs, lose in the wild card round to one of these great teams, or are we going to try to lay the foundation for being one of the great teams as soon as next year, and maybe this year if they get the deal done soon enough to get Deshaun Watson, if that's what they want to do. New York Jets over under 5.5 wins. I had the Jets in my good vibes draft. You had the Jets in your bad vibes draft. You're looking at the injuries like to Carl Lawson and Jared Davis. I'm looking at the presence of Robert Saleh as the head coach, Zach Wilson as the quarterback. So where are you on win total? Will they be 6-11 or better, or 5-12 or worse?
I'm going 5-12 and worse. I am. With that division, they're playing the NFC South and the AFC South, the AFC East this year. The injuries you just talked about, listen, I'm with you all the way with the vibes of Saleh and Zach Wilson and all that goes with that. But, the injuries are real. It's a team and a roster that's still being built. There's some new pieces, some younger guys that are all coming along that way. I think the future's bright. I love the kid, Zach Wilson. I mean, it's going to be laser beam shows. But, hey, this year for the Jets is just establish a culture, get things going in the right direction. You're not going to win the division. Don't get Zach Wilson hurt and put him in vulnerable positions. Don't Joe Burrow him, because that's my new phrase. Don't Joe Burrow him. Don't we're down by 17 and our quarterback, we can't protect our quarterback, but we're still going to drop back 45 times and try to win the game. No, Saleh's he won't do that. he's too smart, I think. And I'm going under, though, because of just, the circumstances I already laid out.
I have noticed, and I may have to go back and check the tape for the exact verbiage that you used, but you're trying to carve out a different way of saying all those types of things. It's still drink. Doesn't ding time. Joe Boone needs a refill.
In this segment, I've done it. I've used another phrase while I was going down the road of using the old phrase.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.